Where did God come from? This is one of the oldest questions humans have ever asked. From the moment people learned to ask where the sun came from, where the earth came from, and where life began, the question about God naturally followed. Everything we know has a beginning. Every story has a start. Every human has parents. So the mind asks, if God created everything, then who created God? The Bible approaches this question in a very different way from human thinking. Instead of explaining God as something that began, Scripture presents God as the one who exists before beginnings even exist. The Bible opens with the words, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth," which already tells us something important. God was already there before the beginning happened. He did not appear inside time, he stands outside it. Time itself is part of creation. This is why the Bible never gives a birth story for God. There is no moment where God comes into existence, because existence itself flows from him. In Exodus, when Moses asks God for his name, God replies, "I am who I am." This is not a normal name. It is a statement of eternal existence. God is not saying who he was or who he will be. He is saying he simply is. This means God does not depend on anything else to exist. Everything else depends on him. The Psalms say that before the mountains were born, before the earth and the world were formed, from everlasting to everlasting, God is God. This means that even if you go back further than creation, further than stars, further than angels, God is already there. Human logic struggles with this because our minds are limited to cause and effect. We are trained to believe that everything must have a cause. But the Bible presents God as the uncaused cause, the source from which all causes flow. If God needed a creator, then he would not truly be God. The prophet Isaiah records God saying, "I am the first and I am the last. Apart from me, there is no God." First means before everything. Last means after everything. This places God beyond the limits of time. Another way the Bible explains this is through God's nature. God is described as eternal, meaning he has no beginning and no end. He is also described as self-existent, meaning he does not rely on anything outside himself. Jesus echoes this idea when he says, "Before Abraham was I am." Abraham lived thousands of years earlier, yet Jesus speaks as if he exists beyond that timeline. This shocked people because it pointed directly to God's eternal nature. The Bible does not try to make God small enough to fit inside human understanding. Instead, it invites humans to recognize their limits. Job, a man who questioned God deeply, was eventually answered not with explanations, but with perspective. God asked Job where he was when the foundations of the earth were laid. The message was clear. God exists on a level beyond human comprehension. The question, where did God come from, assumes God is part of creation. But the Bible teaches that God is the reason creation exists at all. Silence about God's origin is not avoidance. It is revelation. It reveals that God is not like us. He's not bound by time, matter, or space. Even the universe points to this idea. Science says the universe had a beginning, which implies something outside the universe caused it. The Bible identifies that cause is God. This does not weaken faith, it strengthens it. If God had a beginning, then he could end. If he depended on something else, then that thing would be greater than him. But the Bible consistently presents God as the ultimate reality, the foundation of all existence. The mystery of God's origin is not meant to confuse, but to humble. It reminds us that faith does not begin with having every answer, but with trusting the one who exists beyond all questions. When people ask where God came from, the Bible gently redirects the question to something deeper. Not where did God come from, but who is God? He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the one who is, and who is to come. God did not come from anywhere. Everything came from him.